By the way, what are you getting a piercing at? Let's talk about it.
Wait a minute. Time for the Ask Sis Laila live show.
This is
Lines are now open. 862-370-2838.
To everybody, welcome to the Call In and Ask Sister Laila live show. And subhanAllah, last week I was unable to do my show because I fell asleep. Well, guess what? I almost fell asleep today too. I was sitting here on the computer waiting for the time so I can come on here and do my show live. And I was sitting here nodding off, seriously, with my eyes on a person that can nod off with their eyes open. That's me, Laila. So, alhamdulillah, though we made it, we're here. And last week, subhanAllah, I was unable to do the show, but a lot of the sisters in the polygamy group, I'm in 3 polygamy groups now, and a lot of the sisters had questions about marriage, about polygamy. And even though I've done a discussion, I already did a special concentration on polygamy. But one of the things that Dr. Jamali reminded me of, you know, as a daya, we have to remember we get the same questions over and over again all the time. And I was telling him before how I get, you know, tired of answering the same questions over and over. But like he said, you have to remember, Laila, we answer the same questions over and over because, you know, it's different people. You know, most of the ummah is going through the same type of issues. And, you know, as you're increasing your audience, you're going to get new questions from new subscribers. So, you know, we have to be patient as daya, you know, and just, you know, answer the questions intelligently and answer them based on the Quran and the authentic hadith, even if we are repeating the same thing over and over again. And we have to remember the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he repeated the same thing over and over and over again, you know, but, you know, so you remember as daya, as scholars and people of knowledge, we are the inheritors of the prophets, alayhi salam. And so we have to do like them and just be patient and answer the questions, even if it's repetitious, you know, and keep it moving. And mashallah, I'm looking at some of the people here. Mashallah, look who we got here. We got Sister Margaret. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Margaret. It's good to see you here. Alhamdulillah, Margaret comes to every class. She's here for all of my classes, all of my lectures. And that means a lot to me, you know, to have the support. Because alhamdulillah, I've been on the dawah scene longer than most of these other people. And I don't have that much support, you know, even though I promote them. And this is something that, you know, I struggle with as a daya. I've always promoted other du'at, which means other people of the dawah. But they don't support me. The only person that's ever supported this website and mentions this website name publicly is Dr. Ibrahim Jamali. Alhamdulillah. He's the only one that always says, you know, Sunnahfollowers this, Sunnahfollowers that, you know, lailanasheeba this. But these other brothers that came from here never mentioned this website. And that's all I've ever asked, because I'm not looking for fame and I'm not looking for gain. All I want is to have the women from your communities come here to learn from me. And that's something I've told every brother that came through here. I've always said, you know, we'll promote you. I'll promote you and stream you and everything, you know, but just tell the women of your community to come learn from me, you know, and they've never done that. Except for Dr. Jamali, alhamdulillah. So it's good to see Margaret here supporting me. It's good to see all of you. Here's Sister Denisha, mashallah, wa alaikum salam, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Sister Denisha, another one of my YouTube supporters. It's good to see you here. And of course, there's my sister Sakina, one of my students, who's grown so much in her knowledge and understanding of the religion. And also Sister Samira, wa alaikum salam, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And of course, we have Aisha there. Aisha is one of the moderators. So if there's any problems with the YouTube channel, let her know. She's a moderator there. And what is this, Brother HK? Where you been? Where have you been, Brother HK? We haven't seen you in a long time. And like he's saying, let's keep our support. Don't forget to keep the brothers and sisters in Palestine in your dua, guys. You know, we have to remember the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, this nation, we're like a body. If one of us hurts, all of us hurts. And we can never forget that they're going through more trials than we are. And I want to talk about that for a minute. It's not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence. I repeat, it is not a coincidence that most of those of us who are practicing our religion to the best of our ability, that we're all being tested with some type of problem, some type of hardship. Many of you, it's school, it's your job, it's your wife, your husband, your children, your marriage, you know, your family, your health, your body, your mental state. You know, this is not a coincidence. Oh, you know, we're all one body. Our brothers and sisters in Palestine, they're being tested more severely than us because their faith may be stronger. Remember, the stronger your iman, the greater your trials. They're being tested with the losing of their lives. That's the greatest sacrifice anyone can make. So that means that they're at the top of the pole and their belief in Allah, you know. But for the rest of us, you know, who are believing Allah, we're being tested too in different ways. So I want y'all to understand that's not a coincidence. Allah says he sends war. War comes from him. It's a sign of his anger. But it's also he sends it as a means of testing the believers to see if you truly do believe in him. He also sends it as a means of cleansing the earth of corrupt people. He also sends war as a means of showing who's strong in faith, who isn't, who believes in Allah, and who truly doesn't. So this is not a coincidence that we're all going through some type of strife or some type of struggle right now, including me. I got a lot of trials. Oh my God. I'm dealing with so many issues. I don't even know how I'm sitting here talking to you because I'm dealing with issues off this world. But it's not a coincidence. Not just me, but everybody is. So what we got to do is woman up, man up, and handle our trials and understand that we can do it. You can handle it. If you couldn't handle whatever your problem is, Allah wouldn't send it to you. Just like with the Muslims over there in Gaza, they can handle it. They've been handling it. This is part of everyday life for them. It's just more intense. If they couldn't handle it, Allah wouldn't issue it to them. So understand that Allah doesn't put a burden on any of us that we can't bear. We just have to recognize that, own it, keep that dignity, keep that balance, and just keep it moving and deal. Understanding that our purpose is to prove to Allah that we put him before any and everything else. Everybody got that? And that's my little speech for today, you know, but, you know, we just have to deal with it. But it's good to see everybody here. And even in my Zoom room, let's see, I got Sister Amina Fresno in here, Sister AY, Fame. And by the way, Fame is a moderator on YouTube too. I have Sister Elma, Brother Ahmad. Brother Ahmad is here. Sister Habiba, Latifa, Muslima, Norto, Omar Hair, Precious, Rockmo, and Tariq. And also Sabrine. And by the way, guys, Ifti's not with me right now. Ifti's, I think she said her niece had a baby. So she's helping her niece with her baby. You know, family comes first. You know, family comes first. So, but Ifti, you know, she's not with us. But for any questions that you guys have, remember, for those of you on YouTube, those of you on Facebook, Twitch, Trovo, DLive, LinkedIn, All you have to do is type your question and I can see it and I'll be able to read it, inshallah. Just type your question there and I can see it and I can read it. And Sister Famay is with us. And let me show you guys who Famay is. She's another one of our moderators. She'll be filling in for Ifti today. No, that's not her. Where's her picture? That's Mina. I got a picture of Famay somewhere, but here she is. Yeah, that's Famay. She'll be filling in. She's also a moderator on YouTube, and she'll be filling in, reading the questions today. So even though Ifti's not here, just put your questions up there on the screen. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Trovo, or D Live, and I can see whatever you type. And I'm going to start it off because I got about 10 questions here. 10 questions here presented by the sisters from the polygamy groups that I'm on Facebook. They presented these questions to me last week. Oh, there's Brother Douglas. Wa alaikum salam, Brother Douglas. It's been a long time since I've seen you. It's good to see you with us today. I hope everything's going good with yourself and the family. Alhamdulillah. I hope everything's fine with you and the family. I know all of us are being tested because, you know, this is how it is. I know you got some tests and trials you've been dealing with, but I hope you're handling them with dignity and balance. And it's so good to see you with us. Okay, I'm going to start this off because I got 10 questions from the polygamy group. And even though I've answered these questions before, there's probably people here who were not here when I answered them that will also benefit from the answer. So let me get it up here again. Hold on, I got to take a look at it. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna open it up. I wrote their questions down too. So let me open up my little notebook tab I got on my computer. Okay, the first question I got from one of the sisters is, again, and I just answered this, about the dowry. She wants to know, why does the dowry go to my male relatives? Why is it that when my husband pays the dowry, why does it go to the family and to my male relatives instead of to me? Well, again, I've talked about this on numerous times. That is not Islam, that's culture. And as Muslims, we're going to have to learn how to differentiate between what's Islam and what's culture. Islam is supposed to be our culture. But unfortunately, by us not learning it properly, learning it correctly, we miss out. Okay, according to Allah, and Allah is the one that sets the rules, the dowry does not go to your father. It does not go to the male relatives. It's supposed to go to you. The dowry is supposed to be set by you and your guardian, you and your father. Your father should help you to decide on what you should have as a dowry. Nowadays, we make money the dowry. Okay, so it would be you and your father deciding how much money you should ask for. And that money should you can ask for whatever you want to be your dowry. But you don't want to set it too high, whereas a man can't pay it. And you end up single, like a lot of the women are in the Gulf, in the Arabic countries in the Gulf. They're single because when they were young, their dowry was too high. And that money is to go to you. And the purpose of the dowry is for you to have something to buy your freedom with in case the marriage doesn't work out. That's the purpose of the dowry. That's why it goes to you, not to your father. We don't sell our daughters. Islam stopped that. Before Islam, the men used to sell their daughters. Well, there's no more selling or bearing our daughters. Okay? So you're supposed to take that dowry and put it up in the bank in case you have to buy your freedom, because in case you marry this man and he ends up being abusive, or he ends up not being the way you thought and you don't want to be with him, then you return the dowry, okay, as part of the divorce from him, okay? And that's another thing too, you sisters, when you get your dowry, think about that. You might want to hold on to it for a minute to see what type of marriage this is before you spend it, because you might have to get out of there real quick. He might end up with mental issues. That's a big problem. We end up marrying a lot of people that's got some psychological issues. Hello. All right. So the dowry doesn't go to the men in your family. It's supposed to go to you. So what do? If you come from a family that believes that they should sell you and take the money, you tell them you ain't doing that. You just tell your father, according to the laws of Islam, this is my money. And if your father doesn't agree to that, then this is when you go to the people of knowledge. You go to an imam who specializes in marriage, an imam who specializes in marriage, or if you live in a Muslim country, a judge, so they can explain to your father, whoever your guardian is, that this is not his money, that it's yours. Okay, and that should be done before the marriage, before you even entertain the thought of marriage. You have to let your father and the men in your family know that you are not for sale. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. Allah is not oppressive. Man is. Okay, so that's the answer to that. Okay, any other questions before I go to these next ones? Because all these other questions are about marriage and polygamy.
There's one question on YouTube. The sister asked, what is the ruling on secondhand smoke?
Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay, there it is. I was trying to put it up here. Okay, first of all, there is no ruling on secondhand smoke. Allah doesn't mention anything about secondhand smoke. So when we ask about rulings, I want you guys to remember that the rules of Islam come from Allah. They don't come from us. They come from Allah. Allah makes the laws, not us, not man. Okay, so there is no such thing as a ruling on secondhand smoke. But if you want to know, what does Islam say? First of all, Islam teaches us, Allah tells us in the Quran that all intoxicants are haram. And our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us that anything that intoxicates or befogs the brain is considered an intoxicant and is haram. So as Muslims, we can't indulge in cigarettes because cigarettes is an intoxicant. Nicotine is a very addictive drug. Why is it that a person cannot stop smoking? Because they want that high that they get after eating, that high they get after sleeping, that high they get after an hour, that after it goes away. So we can't smoke. So what about secondhand? What is secondhand smoke? Secondhand smoke is the smoke that comes from somebody else that you breathe in. Well, Allah tells us in the Quran, in the interpretation of the meaning, do not sit in the company of those who commit sin. As Muslims, we cannot sit in the company of people who commit sin. So what does that mean? If a person smokes cigarettes, I can't be around him. If a person smokes cigarettes, they can't come around me. So if you obey the law and didn't sit in the company of people who commit sin, then you don't have to worry about secondhand anything. Secondhand smoke, spit, alcohol, or anything else. Okay, so there is no Islamic ruling, but there is a law that Allah made saying that it's haram for us to sit in the company of people who commit sin. So why are you around people who smoke? None of you shouldn't be around it. If your mother smokes cigarettes, then you don't go around her. You tell her, if you want me to visit you, you can't smoke in my presence. If your mother wants you to take her to the grocery store, okay, I'll take you, but you can't smoke in my car. If your mother wants to visit you, you can visit me, but you let her know if she visits you, she can't smoke because you can't be around it. And there's your dalil, because we do not sit in the company of people who commit sin. And that brings us to the next question that a sister is asking here. You're right, the sister from Trova. She said, what if your husband smokes? Good question. If your husband smokes, you tell him either he quit or he got to go. Because again, we don't sit in the company of people who commit sin. Why would you want to be married to a man that smokes? Why would you want to be married to a man that drinks? It's like being married to a man that fornicates, adulterates. So if you got a husband that smokes, you tell him either he stop it ASAP, or you're going to have to divorce him. It's just that simple. This is your test. Like I tell you guys, Allah is testing us all, not just the Palestinians. He sent this war to test us all in our faith. Do you love your husband more than you love Allah? When Allah says that we are supposed to enjoin the good and forbid the evil, so are you going to risk your relationship with Allah and stay with a man that smokes cigarettes? There's your test. There's your trial. And Allah knows best. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Brother Sadiq, wa alaikum salam. He says, I blow blunts. Fresno, what's the blunt? Y'all have to realize.
It's marijuana.
Weed, girl, weed. It's weed.
What do you mean he blows blunts sometimes?
He smokes it, blows it. He means he's trying to be hip, talking about he blows. He smokes blunts, he smokes weed.
Okay, this is a sin. This is the same thing. You know, this is an intoxicant. Yeah, but you're trying to stop. Yeah, you can do it, brother Sadiq. Don't try, just do it. Just stop. You know, don't try to do it. And by the way, guys, this is for any Muslim that has a problem. I mean, any of you who have an addiction, don't try to stop. Just do it. Just stop it. Just do it for the sake of Allah. If you think about the punishment, think about the sin of it. Think about this hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that a man who dies addicted to alcohol will be raised up as a kafir because he took his love for alcohol over his love for me. This is associating partners. Remember, our allegiance is supposed to be to Allah, not to alcohol, not to marijuana. So think about that, brother Sadiq, how you don't want to be with the kafirs, how you don't want to be in your grave after the angels ask you those questions. They then tell you, even though you knew the answers, guess what? You got to do the rest of this time in hell because you died addicted to marijuana. You knew marijuana was haram, but you didn't give it up for Allah. Remember, that's the whole purpose of us. We're supposed to sacrifice for Allah. Look at those companions. Those companions sacrificed their life for Allah. Look at, I did the story of Zainab, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She gave up her husband, sacrificed her love for her husband for Allah. Look at how we have companions who sacrifice their love for their mother for Allah. So, this is why they are the best of this nation. They are the salaf, the best of this nation, because they sacrificed even their loved ones for Allah. You can't give up marijuana. Marijuana stinks. People who smoke marijuana, they stink. I have a neighbor that lives down 3 stories down from me. Every time you go to that level, it stinks because that person smokes marijuana. It's a filthy smell. Think about that. Think about how you're making Allah angry because you're choosing something like that over him. Think about how Allah is not accepting your prayers either. Allah does not accept your prayers. Let me explain this. Allah does not accept any of your good deeds if you are deliberately, intentionally disobeying Allah. Did y'all know that? Because you know smoking weed is haram, but you still do it. That means none of your prayers, none of your charity, none of your fast, nothing is accepted. And if you were to get popped, if you were to die in a car accident right now, you don't have no good deeds. You will be the bankrupt person. You will be lying in that grave with no good deeds. And your soul put into the hellfire to burn until the day of judgment. And on the day of judgment, Allah may still decide to keep you in there forever. So think about that. We talked about the name Muhsi, Allah's name, Muhsi, today. Okay? Consequences. There's consequences for the choices we make in life. Consequences for our actions. Think about the consequences, and that'll help you to stop smoking that marijuana. Brother Sadiq, you're a handsome man. You're very handsome. You don't need marijuana to make you ugly. Not only in looks and in smell, but in the sight of Allah too. No, get rid of that stuff.
The same brother said that he thought it was disliked, not forbidden, and he doesn't drink.
Okay, let me tell you guys, there's no such thing as disliked. Either it's lawful or it's not. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the lawful and the unlawful have been clearly defined by Allah. Just like there's no such thing as half Muslim and half kafir. Allah doesn't mention anything in the Quran that says dislike. Dislike is a term that men came up with who didn't understand. Rather than say, I don't know, they say it's dislike. That's not Allah. Those were for men who didn't know if something was lawful or unlawful. So rather than say, I don't know, they say it's dislike. There's nothing called dislike in Islam. Either it's lawful or not. Either it's haram or halal. Y'all understand that? And Allah is clear. Allah is clear. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said all intoxicants are haram. Anything that befogs the brain is haram. Haram means unlawful. It doesn't mean disliked. Okay? So Allah is clear. So there's no such thing as disliked. Either it's lawful or it's not. I want y'all to learn that. Somebody tell you it's disliked, that means they don't know. Just say, I don't know. Okay? Yeah.
The next question is, a sister wants to know, she knows keeping the ties of kinship is important. What about her aunt have called her names that was horrible for no reason, and she felt uncomfortable to be around her? Does she have to be around her even though she ruined her name?
No, and this is a question that a lot of Muslims ask because we go through problems with our family. Remember, Allah is just. Allah would never impose a law on us that would cause us harm. We respect our parents and we respect our relatives as long as they are not enemies to us, as long as they are not enemies to Allah. If your parents, your relatives are enemies to you or enemies to Allah, then that's it. Just like when Abu Sufyan came to visit his daughter, Habiba, she wouldn't let him in the house. She said, you're an enemy of Allah. Oh no, you ain't coming here, even though you my father. She slammed that door. Okay? So if you got a relative that's hurt you, you got a relative that has harmed you. Remember, as a Muslim, whenever we declare La ilaha illallah, three things are sacred. There's three things that I don't have to forgive you for. Number one, my life. If you try to take my life, I don't have to forgive you for that. That's qisas. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I don't care who you are. Mother, father, brother, you can't touch me. My life is sacred. Number two is my honor, my reputation. My honor is sacred. If you do anything to hurt my honor, qisas, I don't have to forgive you for nothing. That was my honor. And the third one is your property. Those three things are sacred. From one Muslim to another. It don't matter if you my father, my mother, you rape me, you violated. You violated the mahramship. If you were my father and you raped me, you transgressed the limits. You are no longer that to me. You're my father by blood, but that's it. That tie is severed. If you are my brother and you slandered my character, you destroyed my reputation, you severed that tie. You're still my brother by blood, but you've severed that connection. Y'all understand? If you my sister and you hurt my property or you took my property unjustly, you have severed that tie. This is what Muslims in the West don't understand. Muslims in the East do. Arabs understand that. But Muslims in the West, we think that we're supposed to just, because we come, not we, because I was never a Christian. I was born and raised Muslim. Alhamdulillah, I come from warriors. Arabia here, okay? And Viking, okay? But there's a lot of Muslims in the West, who come from Christian backgrounds, and they think that they're supposed to turn the other cheek. Oh, no, we don't turn the other cheek when it comes to those three things. You take my husband's life, I want yours. You rape my daughter, I want you to pay. You destroy my property, hey. So those three things are sacred. So if you got an aunt or a relative who has destroyed your or hurt you, your life, your honor, your property, you still, you know, they're still your relative, but you don't have to go around them. So to answer the question, no, you don't have to go around her. If she's harmed you in any way, you don't have to go around her and be with her. And Allah knows best. Okay.
The next question is, can a Muslim woman or man be a flight attendant?
First of all, for the Muslim, let's answer the first part that should be obvious. A Muslim woman, no. 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 And the reason why I'm saying no, wait, first of all, what country is this person from? Let me ask that first. Can you mean American? Can you work for a United American companies here? Ask the person, is this an American wanting to be a flight attendant?
It's Isha asking the question.
Sister Aisha, is the person talking about working for an American as an American flight attendant? Not no Muslim country. This is an American, because that's the different. It depends on. Oh, no. No. First of all, it's haram for a Muslim woman to wear that type of clothing. Remember, the way I am dressed in a khimar and a baya, this is how we're supposed to dress as Muslim women. This is our dress code. Do you think United Airlines or any American airlines are going to let you come on their plane in an abaya and a khimar? They're going to think you a terrorist, and the people going to tackle you and throw you off the window, off the plane. So that's the first obvious answer. No, because we can't wear their uniforms. We can't wear their dress like them. Okay. Secondly, you know, Muslim women are not supposed to be on display for men. For men, this is very important that we are getting away from today. You know, a Muslim woman is not supposed to stand up in an audience and give lectures to a man. You will never see me, lailanasheeba, standing up at no ISNA conference giving no lecture to no room full of men. My lectures are to women, and I'm sitting at home behind my hijab, which is my computer, in my bedroom, and I am dressed properly. And all you can see is this. You don't see no breast, no chest, no leg, no butt, nothing. All you're going to see from me is this. All my women parts are covered. Okay? A Muslim woman is not supposed to make a spectacle of herself in the public for men. Serving men that are not even your mahram, touching them. On an airplane, you got to walk past the man. He can see your derriere. Y'all see what happened with that protesting. They had all them Muslim women with the big butts making salat on Times Square, and they took pictures of their behinds. Okay? No, a Muslim woman cannot be a flight attendant. No, a Muslim woman needs to find herself at home, attending to her children. Now, for a Muslim man, men don't have as much restrictions as we have as women, because they're the more physical of the species. But even for a Muslim man, he shouldn't work as no flight attendant either, for no kafir company either, because he's putting himself on display. Okay, and kafir people don't have our way of thinking. They don't have our laws of morality. And Allah says, don't go near fornication. Don't go near adultery. Allah commands a Muslim man to lower his gaze. Okay, so no, in Islam, no, it's not a good profession for any Muslim woman nor Muslim man to be no flight attendant. No. Now, if you want to be a pilot, that's something different. But to be a flight attendant, no. Especially in a Muslim country, in a non-Muslim country, a non-Muslim airline. No. Allah says, do not go near fornication. And that's putting a man in an environment that opens the door to that. And Allah knows best. Yeah. Yes, the sisters that the Muslim countries have their flight attendants and stuff, but I'm gonna tell you who they hire. Tell them who they hire. Those women ain't Muslim. Did y'all know that? When y'all fly those Egyptian airlines, those are Coptics, those are Christians. Did y'all know that? Most of those Arabic countries, their flight attendants are not even Muslims. Those are Christians. I keep telling y'all 30% of the Arabs are Christian. They hire Christian Arabs to be flight attendants and stuff. Yeah, I remember when I went to make my Hajj, I went to Egypt Airlines, and that's why I was surprised, because the ladies, I'm like, these Muslims ain't dressed right. And the woman that served me my food, and it was so good, she said, I'm sorry, I'm not Muslim. We're Christians. We're Copts. I said, oh, so that's what they do. They hire non-Muslims to be their flight attendants and stuff. She said, we're Copts. Yeah.
The next question is, the sister, Assalamu alaikum, is the crossing of the Siraat bridge on the day of judgment before we get our books? Won't everyone who cross get them know they'll get their books in their right hand?
Oh, no. I did a whole series on paradise and hell. I did a whole series on that bridge. Crossing that bridge is not just walking across that bridge. Crossing that bridge is also the settling of the scores. You're going to be giving your deeds away. You're going to cross that bridge, and whatever good deeds you have, you're going to be giving them to the people that you hurt and taking on their sins. Okay, so you're not going to just walk across no bridge. No, whatever deeds you have is going to be in your hands, and you're going to have to give them to different people. In order to make it across that bridge, you have to have at least one deed in your hand. Most people won't have one deed. When you get to the end, you're going to fall off into the hellfire. Okay? So, but for those of you who want to talk about the paradise and hell, go to my series that's on my YouTube channel. I'd go into great detail about the crossing of the bridge and all of that. Okay? The judging is one thing. The crossing of the bridge is another. The crossing of the bridge will happen after the judging. Okay, you're going to stand there and your deeds will be weighed. That's the judging. But even if you got all these good deeds, you got to go through the crossing to give them away to the people that you hurt. And if you don't have any good deeds, then you're going straight to hell. Does everybody understand that? The judging is before the crossing. If you don't have no good deeds at all on your scale, the angels will rip you right to the hellfire. But if you do got good deeds on the scale, then you cross the bridge and you got to settle the score. Give them to the people that you hurt and take on their sins. It's a back and forth, back and forth. And if you ain't got at least one deed left, you're going to go right to that hellfire. Okay? Does everybody understand that? The judging is first, and then the Siraat bridge. All right. You can get your book of deeds, and the book of deeds can go in your right hand, but that don't mean nothing. All them deeds you got to give them away to the people you backbit, the people you stole from, the people who you hurt. Yeah, it's a scary thing. The only thing that I can tell you guys is don't sit around worrying and fearing over all that. Just try to focus on living your life in this world. Focus on trying to get good deeds. Live your life in this world, doing the deeds that's pleasing to Allah, so you can have a good death, a good ending. You want to die a good ending, a good death. Don't focus on that other stuff. Focus on getting a good death. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the polygamy people, y'all see, I don't want to do these questions. Okay, since there's no more here, let me go back to one of the polygamy questions. Let me look at it. Hold on, I got them. Okay, I answered this last time too. This sister wants to know, can an older woman marry without a guardian? I get this question all the time. All the time. It's subhanallah, subhanallah. Let me show y'all. I wrote this down. There's her question again. Let me look at it. That one. Can an older woman marry without a wali? Wali means guardian. Boy, do I get that. Ugh. Okay. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was clear. In order for there to be a valid marriage contract, certain conditions have to exist. And one of the conditions is the woman that is getting married must have a guardian. It doesn't matter if the woman is 80 years old or if the woman is 8 years old. She has to have a guardian. Okay? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there is no marriage without a guardian. That hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. Okay. But also the Prophet said if a woman has been previously married, she has tasted the sweetness of life. And if a woman who was previously married goes to her guardian and tells him that she wants to get married, he should not deny her. He should not deny her. Why? Because she's already tasted the sweetness of life, meaning sex. And as the Prophet said, she knows herself better. She knows what she's capable of. That hadith is authentic. That's in Sahih Muslim. Okay? So that's the only thing. If the woman's been married before, her guardian should not turn her down. If she says she wants to get married, he has to let her get married. I'll give myself as an example. I'm an older woman. If I got 4 brothers. If I told them I want to get married, it ain't up to them to say, I don't think you should marry this brother. You can't tell me what to do. You better bounce, poppycat. First of all, I'm older than you. Learn from me. Number 1. Number 2, I'm a grown woman. I know what I need. I know what's best for me. So they need to let you get married. That's what the Prophet said. But you still have to have the guardian, because the guardian is the one that does the marriage for you. He's the one that helps you decide on the dowry, because even though a woman knows what's best for her, she still needs the guidance of a man, because only a man understands a man. I might be so desperate to get married that I say I don't need no dowry. Let me use myself as an example. I'm an independent, self-sufficient woman. Ain't nothing a man can give me that I can't give myself. Financially, I'm talking about. So I may say, oh, I want to get married. I don't need a dowry. I don't need no dowry. Because we women think like that. We women think like that based on our emotions. Well, my brother will say, well, you know, you independent, self-sufficient, but you need something. You should ask for something. You don't want some man to think that you are desperate. See, it would take a man to point that out to me, because I don't consider myself desperate. But my brother may say, you consider you looking like you're desperate. No, ask for something, at least $2,000. At least tell the man to give you $2,000. You never know. So that's an example. A woman's gonna always need a guardian to represent her. But being a woman that's experienced, she knows herself. She knows what she's capable of. She knows that she needs to get married. Otherwise, she's going to end up fornicating or adulterating, because we women give in to our emotions easier. Y'all understand that hadith now? So that's what the prophet meant. He didn't say a woman doesn't need a guardian. She has to have one. But the guardian should not refuse her either, because she knows what's best for her. She knows she's weak and she's about to commit a sin. Okay, everybody understand that? Okay, any other questions before I go to this next polygamy one?
There's none on YouTube now.
Okay. Oh God, look at this question. Whoa. This question, the sister says, my husband wants me to move in with my co-wives. Do I have to move in with them? I want you sisters to understand there are certain rights that you have as a woman that Allah gave you. And since Allah gave those rights to you, no man can take them away from you. Do you women understand me? One of the rights that Allah says a woman is entitled to is her own home, because Allah knows his creation better than the creation knows itself. Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had multiple wives, but none of them lived in the same house together. Every one of his wives had her own separate apartment attached to the mosque. And the hadith even goes on to tell us how the woman's accommodation should be. As Aisha radiallahu anha explained, the woman's home should consist of a place, a space for her to cook, a space for her to sleep, a space for her to sit and entertain. That's what the woman's accommodation should consist of. See why it's important to learn these hadiths? Okay, so whatever space that your husband gives you as an accommodation should have a place where an area where you can cook at, an area where you can sleep at, and an area where you can entertain guests at. That's an apartment. Y'all understand that? That's how the prophet's wives lived, in a one big room. But the room was big enough where they had one area to cook, where they did the cooking at, another area where they did the sleeping at, and another area where they entertained. Okay? See how detailed our way of life is. We just have to learn it. So that's what every Muslim woman is entitled to. No man can make you give up the rights that Allah has given you. Not even your husband. Your husband cannot come home one day and say, guess what? I can't afford to take care of you and the other wives, so I want all y'all to move in the same house. If your husband came home and told you that, you know what you do? You say, well, since you can no longer provide and maintain, let me call my guardian. It's time for cooler. It's time for me to keep it moving. Maybe I need to find a brother that can maintain Aki. Hello, goodbye. That's the reality. Okay, so no, your husband cannot make you move in with anyone, not his mother, not no other co-wife, not no other woman, period. The Prophet Muhammad could not even force his wives to take in Maria. Maria, radiallahu anha, was his right-hand possession from Egypt. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given her as a gift, none of his wives wanted her to live with them. He went to Aisha first and said, Aisha, she's your age. Can she live with you? Aisha said, no way, Jose. You take that slave somewhere else. And then he went to Hafsa. Hafsa said, no way, Jose. He went to Salama. She said, no way, Jose. So a man cannot even force his right-hand possessions to move in with his wives. So what did the Prophet do? He had Maria stay with someone else. She stayed in a house that belonged to another one of the companions. And then he eventually got her own place in the desert area. So a man cannot force you to live with nobody, nor can he force nobody to live with you. That's a right that Allah gave us. And this is what we was talking about earlier. You know, Allah, there's no need for feminism. Allah liberated us women. Allah gave us women rights. But the problem is Muslim women today don't learn their deen. You're not aware of what your rights are because you don't know your religion. You sisters need to prioritize and understand that seeking knowledge is an obligation upon all Muslims. A man can only do to you what you allow him to do out of ignorance. Until you learn your rights and your role, you will always be oppressed. But don't blame it on the religion, blame it on yourself. Yeah. So no, your husband cannot force you to move in with no co-wives, nor can he, just like if this was a war and he had slaves, he couldn't force his slaves to live with you either. Hello. See how Allah is Akbar. Like I told y'all, Arab women don't play. All right, any other questions? Y'all quiet on that one, huh? No comments on that? The peanut gallery? See, I don't have Ifty here. Sabrine? They quiet in my Zoom room, guys. Sabrine.
Take off my mute.
What you think
That's
about that?
understandable. Allah, you said it. You answered the question. Allah knows us better than we know ourselves. And Allah knows how a woman feels about another woman being in her home with her husband. Come on now. That is not gonna work.
Yeah, do y'all think Allah
We are
would
very
do that
emotional as women. We're very emotional. And we can feel threatened by even small things. And Allah knows this. And that's why Allah made these laws. Allah knows how we would react to something like that. You know? We're women.
Yeah.
And we do not want to share. I mean, we have to accept polygamy. All right. But we do not have to accept her being in the same house, room, or anything else with her husband.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Islam is a check and balance. Your husband has the right to have 2, 3, or 4. where you have the right to have your own, your one home alone with just you and your children.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the reality. Islam is a check and balance. Yeah. Okay, let's see. We got other questions here. I'm looking. What if, okay, this sister is asking from Trova. She said, what if your husband, I'm trying to read it. She said, what if your husband forces you? Okay, again, what do you mean by force? She said, what if your husband forces you to move in with the all the women to live together? You know, what did he do? Did he put a gun to your head? To say that my husband forced me, that means he put a gun to my head. No, you refuse and pack your bags and go home. Go home to your father, to your mother. Call the imam. You know, this is why I'm telling you guys, you have to have the connection. We need a community. You need to be a part, as a Muslim woman nowadays, you need to be a part of a strong Islamic community that's headed by an imam that knows his deen, who specializes in marriage and divorce and fiqh. Because this is when you get on the phone and call your imam that's special, not the hood imam. I ain't talking about call the hood imam. I'm talking about call the sheikh that specializes in marriage and divorce and tell him my husband is threatening to put all of us together in the same house, so that that imam can talk to him and let him know he can't do that. He's got to figure out something else, but he cannot force his wives to live together to make it easier for him. Do you guys know that before Islam, there were no rules and no limitations as to how many wives a man could have? Abu Bakr, radiallahu anha, he had 10 wives. He had 10 wives. And then when Allah sent down the law telling the Prophet Muhammad that a man can only have 4, Abu Bakr divorced, his other wives. He said, which one of you, and he divorced all the ones that refused to be Muslim. And he only had 1 wife. He would have kept 4, but they all refused except for Aisha's mother. So Rumain, he kept her, but he divorced all his other wives. That shows the faith that these companions had, So, if you find out that, to make it easier for you, you chose to have 2, 3, or 4 wives. You chose to take on that responsibility as a man. Now you want to make it easier for you. You want to downsize? Downsize by getting rid of your wives. You don't downsize by throwing them in the same house to oppress them. Y'all understand that? We can't do that. You shouldn't have taken on an obligation if you couldn't handle it. Polygamy is a serious obligation for a man. If you couldn't handle it, you shouldn't have done it. But since you've done it, you can't cheat the women out of their rights to make it easy for you. Because if you got and that's why you women need to woman up and let the men know you ain't going for that. You want to downsize, then I'll be the first one that you can divorce. That's how we downsize. But I'm not living in no room with no other women. Oh, no. Oh, no, no. All right. Everybody understand that. I hope that answers your question. Did that answer yours too, sister? Okay, good. Okay, let's look at this other question. I got another question here. I got a lot of these polygamy questions. So let me look at this one. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, let me open it back up. She said this one here. Uh-oh, that's my book. Hold on. This one says, am I obligated to care for the children that belong to my co-wives' children? And this is a good question too. No. If you're going to be in a polygamous situation, you're only responsible for your children, not nobody else's. This is not the sister wives. Like I tell you guys, we got these reality television shows. We watch too much TLC. We watch too much of that sister wives. No, we don't live in the same house. Nor am I your mama to your kids. Oh no, I'm only responsible for my children. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said each and every one of us is a guardian over something. The woman is the guardian over her children, not the children of another woman. You're going to stand before Allah and be held accountable for your children, how you raised and reared them, not somebody else's kids. So no, because everybody understand that. And that's a good question. So for you sisters in this polygamy room here, no, you're only held accountable for your children, not the children of somebody else. Of course, you want to be nice and cordial to the kids and all that. But no, you're responsible and you make the laws and rules for your kids, not no one else's. And Allah knows best. And I gave you the dalil. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, hold on. This polygamy stuff. Here's another one. I'm trying to work this. What is this? Oh God, this one. Hold on for guys. Let me get my coffee to answer this one. This one is hold on for 1 second. I got to get my coffee on this one. Oh, this question. Oh, I can't believe it. I've had this question twice before. And I know who this one is from. We have a lot of people. I'm in another group. I'm in another Facebook group. And these are new shahadas. And a couple of the people in this group were Mormons. They were the LDS kind. Y'all get what I'm saying? The polygamous kind. And one thing about the LDS, their polygamy is not like ours. Not only do they all live in the same house, and not only can a man have as many wives as he wants, but they also marry their half sisters. They also marry their uncles, their aunts, and things, their nieces. So this question that I have here is from one of them. We have a couple of sisters who converted to Islam from the LDS. And this is her question. Wait, let me look at it again. She said, I converted to Islam and my husband is my uncle. What do we do? This happens. Incest in Islam, although Islam allows cousins to marry, that's it. Allah tells us in the Quran, it is forbidden to marry your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your grandmother, your grandfather. It is forbidden to marry your brother, your sister, your niece, your nephew, whether they're half or not. This is considered incest. And the sisters in here listening to me. So I'm just going to break it to you. There ain't no nice and easy way about it. This is your relationship Your marriage to your husband is considered null and void and haram in Islam. You need to separate from him immediately. You ready for this? You and your husband, your marriage is haram. It's illegal. Y'all need to separate it immediately. What do I mean by that? No more touching, no more relationship. He needs to move out or whatever. The children are still yours and his. You are both still obligated to take care of those children, but you two are not married and you cannot be together again, period or dot. The tie has been severed. Y'all understand? Just like in a rape situation, that tie of kinship has been broken, severed. You understand, sister, what I'm saying? And there's no nice way to put this. It's severed. You cannot have no dealings with him anymore. This is considered incest, which is one of the most sacrilegious sins you can commit. Comments on it? Go ahead, sister. Okay, she's typing to me now that she figured I would say that. Okay, I'm gonna wait to see what else she says. Yes, okay, she's now asking me, since this was the way that she was raised up before, will Allah hold her accountable? She said what she and her husband want to know I'm waiting for the type. She said she and her husband are more concerned with wanting to know, will Allah punish them? Okay, this question shows your faith. No, Allah does not punish us for the things we did before Islam, and Allah doesn't punish us for the mistakes that we make. In other words, the actions of disobedience that we do unknowingly. Okay, but now since you know that it is considered incest in Islam, we cannot marry our uncle. This is a sacrilege. Tell your husband, he's listening to me now, he needs to leave. You two are done. No more marriage, no more touching, no more relationship. The only thing is, you know, he still takes care of those children. They're still both of your kids. Are your kids normal? I need to ask this. Are your kids normal? Yeah, that's why I asked. Because coming from an LDS background, this is a big thing with y'all. Yeah, well, yeah, he takes care of all that. That's right. Yeah, so the relationship is over. Tell him to leave. And you and him have no other interaction. That tie has been severed. He just take care of the children, and that's it. And Allah does not hold either one of you accountable because you were LDS. This is something that you did as a Christian. Y'all didn't know. It's part of y'all culture. But now that you both have converted to Islam, it's over. He can marry somebody else who's not a relative. And you can marry somebody else who's not a relative like that. who's Muslim. You understand? And just talk to your children. You know, this is going to be something for your kids. Yeah, just, you know, talk. You got a good Islamic community where you are? Do you live out there in, you know, Donnie and Marie land? Yeah. Yeah, it's common there. Yeah, I know. The LDS. This is Donnie and Marie. Yeah, I'm an 80s. She said Donnie and Marie. The Osmonds. Yeah, they had a bunch of wives too. I know. Yeah, well, she says she's got a strong community, guys. Okay, well, okay, yeah, just yeah, the marriage is over. It's done. It's a done deal. And you have no more interaction with each other. You two are done. And just talk to your children. I'm sure that the masjid where you are, you know, has some good counseling they can give y'all and all that too. But yeah, you can't be with him. And explain that to your children, that we don't marry our uncles and our aunts and our half brothers and our half sisters. Make sure your children understand that that stuff is incestuous in Islam. And may Allah make it easy for you, sister, and your husband. He's listening to me too. May Allah make it easy for both of y'all, and both of you, welcome to Islam. Okay. Oh, he's got other wives. She said he's married to. Oh, yes, that's haram too. Half sister is haram. Oh my God. Woo. Oh, this is a big one for me, guys. Yeah, we don't marry our half sister. Tell him the same thing with her. She's his half sister from another. Yes. It's still haram. We don't marry our sisters and brothers, whether they have or not. So tell him the same thing. He listening to me? That relationship is over. You still take care of those children, but that's it. No connection, no interaction with her either. And any other wives that you got that's related to you that way. Oh my God. And get some counseling for those children from the masjid. I'll email you. I want to know what masjids is in your area so I can see if I know the imams there. Yeah. Yeah, so send me an email after this. All right. May Allah make it easy for y'all. Okay, any other questions? Oh my God, guys. I want y'all to understand in Islam, we don't do that. You can't marry your sister, your aunt, your nieces. That stuff is all incestuous in our way of life. Then even if you're coming like this brother and sister is, you're coming from a different way of life, the marriage is annulled. It's over. Even though it's something that you did before you converted to Islam, it's over. That relationship, that marriage is done. It's over. And that tie is severed. That tie of mahramship is severed. Y'all got that? Okay. Okay, let's look at the next question. Polygamists, put them up. This is all... here's the one. I do not want to cover my face, but my husband wants me to cover it. Can he make me? Okay, this one is easier. I'd rather deal with this question. This is an easier one. Subhanallah. Again, guys, and I know you sisters go to these brothers and ask them that question. They give y'all this answer. I'm not going to do that. What do the brothers say? Sabrine, what do those brothers say when they go to them? Oh, Sheikh, My husband wants me to cover my face. What do those brothers say? Well, sister, didn't the law say that any woman that dies and her husband's pleased with her, she go to pay? You can take that yoky dope stuff on somewhere. Sorry, you ain't getting that crap from me. The answer is, can't nobody make you do what you don't have to do. You tell your husband, I wasn't covering my face when you met me. So what makes you think I'm going to cover it now? You tell your husband, you don't even want to wear a mask. You can't even wear a mask for 2 hours. But you think I'm supposed to walk around with my face covered? Oh, no, it ain't happening. So you just tell him that. No, since it's not something that I'm obligated to do, then I'm not going to do that. You tell him, you say you love me. You say that you care for me. You said when you married me that you would protect me, that you would never hurt me. You would never ask me to do something that would be hard on me. So you tell him why you trying to change. Covering a face is hard. I wasn't born that way. I can't even handle a mask either. So you tell him no in a nice way. No, thank you. And there's other ways to get to paradise. And there's other ways to win your pleasure, brother, than putting a mask on. Now let's go take a nap. Hello! That's what you tell him. Y'all get that? Let's go take a nap. And that's it. Pleasing my husband. Oh, I can please you all right. I can please you in more ways than covering up my face to oppress me. That's what you tell him. And you keep it moving, sisters. No, nobody can make you do something, guys, that Allah didn't say you have to do. Put that in your head. So when they start talking about please your husband, there's a lot of ways I can please him rather than that. Okay? So there's your answer from a woman who knows how hard it is to cover your face. I got asthma. When I used to work before I retired, we had to wear a mask on the job the whole 8 hours. Then when I would work overtime, we'd had to keep it on for 16 hours. I'll never forget how I couldn't breathe. My asthma was messed up. So I said, boy, if this was a niqab, I wouldn't be able to make it. Are you crazy? No, you don't have to cover your face to please him. You can tell him that you can find and think of better ways of pleasing him than putting your a bag on. And just keep it moving. Okay? So that question was easy. Let's look at the next one here. This is all from the polygamy sisters. Okay, hold on. This one is how do I handle the jealousy of my husband being with other wives? Girl, if we knew the answer to that. I'm doing this for you guys, the heroines of Islam. As you guys can see, that's something that Aisha, radiyallahu anha, struggled with. Her jealousy. Her jealousy was off the hook. You know, all of us women suffer with that. And there's nothing you can do to make it go away. Salama, hers went away because the Prophet Muhammad made dua for her. She was the only wife that didn't have that type of jealousy. And that's because the Prophet made dua for her, asking Allah to take it away from her. But that's part of the female nature. And this is why only an oppressive man. I repeat, only an oppressive man. I repeat again, only an oppressive, narcissistic man would try to have two women live in the same house who he's married to, because that's hard. You wouldn't want your wife living in a house with you and another man, but you want to subject her to you and another woman. So this is something, sister, that you will never get over. That's why you have to be careful who we marry. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the perfect husband. He treated all his wives with dignity. All his wives felt loved. All his wives felt special. And he did everything in his power to cater to each and every one of them. But he could not get rid of the jealousy that they had. Okay? So this only thing that I can suggest is that you make dua. Even for a woman that is not in a polygamous situation, we all suffer with that. You know, we get jealous. That maybe your husband is spending more time at work than at home with you. Maybe he's spending too much time at the mosque. So jealousy is just a part of the human nature. But it has to be controlled and balanced. And the only way you can balance it out is by asking Allah to help you with that. So what I suggest all of us do as women, because I do it too, is just make dua, asking Allah to keep our jealousy balanced, to not let us dip too far in our jealousy. Okay? And Allah knows best, but it's never going to go away. Even if it was just you and him, you still be jealous. That's just part of being a human. Okay. Okay, next question here. My husband, oh Lord, have a mercy. This question, she says, let me come back to that one. This question is, do I have to obey my husband if he says he doesn't want me to learn from you and other people? Okay, this is a good question. I've answered this question 1,000,000 times too. First of all, seeking knowledge of this religion is an obligation upon all Muslims, guys. It's a command. Allah commands us in the Quran to seek knowledge of this religion. We're all going to be questioned in our grave as to why you did not seek knowledge. In fact, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us how when the angels come to pull our soul, one of the things that they will say to us, did Allah not send messengers to you? Did Allah not send messengers to convey the truth? And he's not just talking about the prophets of Allah, but messengers like me, messengers like other Daya. We're people who are conveying the true knowledge of Islam. Why didn't you listen? Allah's going to ask you. The angels are going to ask you when they pull your soul. Didn't Sister Laila say that seeking knowledge is an obligation? Didn't she say that every Muslim is supposed to have a teacher? Why didn't you have a teacher? Why didn't you listen to her? So again, this falls in the same category as to what I was speaking about earlier. Just like no one on this planet can make you do something that Allah didn't say you have to do. No one can tell you that you can't seek knowledge of this religion either. And you seek it from the proper sources. If you're seeking knowledge from that brother right there, who, as long as that brother is teaching the truth, all his teachings are based on the Quran, based on the authentic hadith, then your husband, no, you don't have to obey him in that. Remember, there's no obedience to the creation over the creator. Allah is first and foremost, even over your husband. Your husband cannot tell you he wants you to stay stupid. Oh, he can say it, but you'd be the fool to listen to him on that and obey him in that. So if he tells you he doesn't want you coming here to learn, you tell him why. You tell him seeking knowledge is an obligation upon me, just like it is upon you. And you tell him that sister is teaching everything based on the Quran and Sunnah. Because you don't like her? Why don't you like her? Is it because you're afraid that she's going to teach me something that you said that's wrong? You afraid I'm going to learn more than you? You tell him, I'm sorry, Aki. I love you and I obey you on anything else, but I'm not going to obey you when it comes to my relationship with Allah. And you tell him, that sister there, she reinforces my faith, my belief in Allah, because I understand what she's saying. She speaks good English and she speaks the Quran and Sunnah, and I'm comfortable with her. And you tell him, I love you, but I never love you more than Allah. And if I die today, I don't want them angels to tell me that I got to do some time in hell because I listened to you and stopped learning my deen. So sorry, Aki, no can do, and keep it moving. You women got to stand up. Okay? So no, you don't have to obey him in that. Just like if he told you take off your hijab, you don't obey your husband in that either. If he told you to stop wearing abayas, you don't obey him in that either. There's no obedience to the creation over the creator. Y'all got that? And Allah knows best. I hope that's clear. There's a sister here that asked that question too. Let me, yeah, is that clear, sister? Yeah, she's asking, yeah, another sister is asking, why is it that these brothers got a problem with us learning from you anyway? Because some brothers like to keep I'm just going to be honest. Some men want to keep their wives ignorant because they're afraid that you're going to learn that what they're doing is wrong. Maybe they're not growing a beard. A beard is an obligation. It's not a sunnah. Okay? Maybe they don't want you to know that cigarettes is haram. Maybe they don't want you to know that you have the right to have your own home, that nobody can make you live with another woman. So a lot of men want to keep you ignorant of the religion. What's wrong with learning from me? I'm a woman, number one. I'm a female. And for your husband to tell you that he'd rather you listen to some man, a handsome man at that, your husband would tell you that it's okay to go listen to that brother over there who's handsome rather than listen to this woman, that should tell you something's wrong. Maybe he doesn't want you to learn the truth about something, because what man in his right mind would direct his wife to another man? You sisters got to think. Y'all got to think. What man in his right mind who loves his wife would direct his wife to go listen to a man other than him over a woman? The only way he do it is because he afraid that woman knows something that he don't want you to know. You sisters got to read between the lines with your husbands. Read between the lines with your husbands. Because a man wouldn't do that. They supposed to be jealous. That's why they want you to cover your face. So why you want me to listen to this fine brother over here? This brother good looking. He look better than you, Aki. And he's more intelligent than you. You want me to really listen to him and watch him? Oh, I'll do it. You want me to listen to him over Laila? You more comfortable with me, your wife, listening to this young, handsome brother who got more knowledge than you. You rather me listen to him than listen to this female woman who ain't no threat. Seriously. Shouldn't that tell you, sister, something? That they afraid that you gonna learn something that you shouldn't learn from me. Okay. Does that answer that question? Yes, go ahead.
Can I say something, please?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because you really reminded me something, Sister Laila. I go through the same thing. I never tell you this. Since I started coming to Sunnahfollowers in, I think, 2011, 12, when I started coming to Sunnahfollowers, I struggle to stay in this class. He doesn't want me to join this class. And I put the high volume in the house, in the computer. He listens to everything you're saying. He understands something. Because before I don't have enough knowledge that I have when I start coming to Sunnahfollowers. And he see that I start changing, my behavior start changing. I start becoming more Sunnah. I start like to be I don't even know how to explain. I start practicing the Sunnah so much. So when he starts seeing that, he knows something is coming up. He knows something is coming. He needs to do something as soon as possible. Sister Laila, he used to cut my internet.
Whoa.
He used to cut my internet, like take the wire and hide it.
Oh.
Just because he doesn't want me to be in that class. And I understand him. I fight. I buy my, he tell me I can use his computer. I put my own money, I buy my own computer because of Sunnahfollowers.
Y'all hear
Sister
that?
Laila, I struggle a lot to keep myself in Sunnahfollowers. He didn't get out like eye to eye and to tell me I don't want you in Sunnahfollowers. Because if he say that, he know what I'm going to tell him. But his behavior is telling me everything. Wherever he gonna go to work, he gonna cut the internet. There is wire. At that time is you know the wire that's connect the modem.
Yes, yes.
The modem. That's wire out and he hide it or go with it in his car. So I cannot join the class. Sister Laila, he tell me I cannot touch his computer. I struggle a lot. I buy my own computer. I find a way to get Wi-Fi. All this. I put the Wi-Fi even under my name. I find a cheap one that I can pay $9.99 a month from the government because of my children having free meal at school at that time. I struggle a lot, Sister Laila, to keep myself in Sunnahfollowers.
Yeah, y'all hear that?
This man doesn't like it. He doesn't like it because he see I'm growing in my faith.
Right. And that's the thing.
I'm learning what he doesn't want me to learn. He see I'm start being strong than before that he marry me. And if he say 1, 2, 3, I stand up, I tell him, look, I love you. Exactly what you're saying right now. I love you for the sake of Allah. I marry you for the sake of Allah. And this is not your right. This is between me and my Lord. And you cannot interfere in this. Leave me alone. I tell him this, I don't have no fear. So since he starts seeing those behavior, he know that something is coming up. You understand? Sister Laila, I struggle a lot until this man get tired and leave me alone. Until he get tired and leave me. He see that there is no way he gonna stop me from learning about my religion. And then after that, you see now what happened. Now I'm talking about almost 11 or 12 years ago. Now we are separate. We are going through a divorce now. We are separated 2 years ago. You know that, Sister Laila.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what he told my sister last year?
What?
Last year he called my sister. The year that I ran away from his house. He told my sister all this. This is now her behavior. I know her better. I know that's because of all those sheikh that she's listening to. Did you see that?
That's what he
I
said.
say, Ya Allah. I tell her yes, because he find me very weak Muslim. And Alhamdulillah, Allah make me grow inside his house. He locked me in his house. He doesn't want me to go out. He doesn't want me to interact with people. With all this, Alhamdulillah, Allah want to teach me something inside his room, inside his house. I learn my religion. I use that time that he kept me in the house, not want me to go anywhere. I use that time to learn about my Lord and know about my religion, know my rights and everything. And now I stand up for myself to tell him no, because Allah said there is no abuse in marriage. If you don't like me, I'm gone. I'm going. I'm leaving. Now he can do anything. He tell my sister, I know that's because of all those learning, that's Islamic learning that I'm listening to. All those sheikh. That's why I did this. You see that?
Mm-hmm. So that shows you guys, like I said, yeah, he doesn't want, they don't want you to learn from me because they're afraid you're gonna grow.
He doesn't want you to know something.
Right.
They know there is something coming up. Something is coming. There is one day that you're gonna stand up. If he's abusing you, you're gonna stand up and tell him no for this abuse. Allah didn't tell you to abuse me like that. Because we women, we confuse sometimes. We confuse the right of Allah and the right of the man. We take both. We take the right of the man and everything and give it, and the right of Allah and give it to the man. And the men want us to stay like that so they can abuse us. Make them, they are our God, not Allah. So if you are learning your religion, you're gonna separate, like how Sister Laila said, between the line. You're gonna know what is the right of Allah and what is the right of the man, and you're gonna stick to each of them. And that's what they don't like. So they're gonna try to do everything in their power to stop you before you reach that where they don't want you to be. Every man who doesn't want his wife to learn the religion, he finds her weak, and he wants her to stay weak until he finishes with her. He know if she find out her right in Islam and what the right of Allah is and his right, she will keep everyone in his place. And there is no man will abuse her. She already know, because Allah already tell us everything about our right, how the man is supposed to treat us. You see, that's what I learned from my experience. I fight with this man. I fight. He doesn't like it. I don't care. Yes, you tell me to obey you, to do this for you. I know Allah tell me to do it, to obey you. I will do it. But this is between me and my God. You don't have no right to come between me and my Lord. I even tell him. He doesn't tell me to go give him food until he see me. I make wudu. I was rushing to go do my prayer. And this is voluntary prayer. He's gonna come and he's gonna start talking to me. When you start praying, you take a lot of time before you finish with all those dua that you do. You do too much dua. You need to give me food first. I tell him, look, this is time to pray. I need to pray. I'm on my carpet. He wanna see me. I already put my jilbab and everything. I'm gonna start to say the takbir, and then he gonna tell me, no, before you start praying, please go give me food. I will tell him, no, this is a prayer. I'm not doing any sunnah right now. Is a obligatory prayer. I have to pray. If you are really hungry, go take your food. Is in the kitchen or on the table. Go take it and eat. If you don't want it, please leave me alone. I'm gonna go into my grave by myself, and you're gonna be in yours by yourself. Here, this is between me and my Lord, and I'm not gonna obey you and leave my Lord. I'm already on the carpet to pray. And this is obligatory prayer. I know if it's the sunnah prayer, I can leave it and will give you. But this is obligatory prayer. You're not going to tell me to leave it and go feed you.
Now y'all see
that's
that?
How I fight with this man, Sister Laila.
Yeah,
I fight.
That's
may
ridiculous.
Allah accept it from me, and may Allah make me I pass this test, because
Yeah,
this man,
alhamdulillah.
I know that he is a big test for me. He was a big test for me.
And that's
Wallahi.
what the same thing you other sisters are going through. Like I said, like Pamela said, once a person learns the religion, like Pamela said, let me put that up there. She said, once a person learns the religion, they no longer want to tolerate ignorance from others. Yeah. What is the cure? From there's Allah says there's a cure for everything. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that Allah sent a cure for everything. What's the cure for ignorance? Knowledge. So if you got a husband that's telling you that he doesn't want you to learn from another woman who's teaching everything based on Quran and Sunnah, and instead he's steering you to a man who's better looking than him, more intelligent than him, that should tell you something ain't right about this picture. He's afraid that I'm going to learn something that I shouldn't, that he don't want me to know. Because no man in his right mind would steer his woman to another man to seek knowledge when there's a woman teaching the same thing. Better. Because we women do things better than men. Y'all understand that? So no, you don't have to obey your husband and nothing silly like that. You tell him no. Seeking knowledge is an obligation from Allah, by Allah, to all of us. And I'm going to seek knowledge from that sister. I'm more comfortable learning from that sister than learning from some man. And then you just call him out. Tell him, why do you want me to go to a handsomer man who's more intelligent than you to learn? You should be happy that I'm here at home on a computer listening to this female. That should tell you something's wrong. Now look at this question, guys. I think this is the last one I have here too. Where is that? That's the one I was saving for last about the soap. Girl. I'm going to tell y'all, this question is weird. I have never, now this is the first time I've ever received a question like this in all my years of teaching Islam. And I've been teaching Islam since 1986 on this internet. Y'all ready for it? This is the question. And I'm not making fun of you, sister. I just can't believe it. This is her question. I'm going to read it. Y'all can see that it ain't made up. Let me put it up here. I'm going to let y'all see it. This is her question. Number 8. She says, my husband does not want me to bathe with soap nor shampoo. What do I do? Can y'all believe that? That's the question. My husband does not want me to take a bath with soap or shampoo. This is where we are as a nation today. Now, let me just make it a little bit easier for y'all too. I'm going to tell y'all the rest of this question because she sent this to me on WhatsApp and I text her back on this one. I asked her, what was the reason he gave you? And she said that he told her, this is her husband told her that he does not want her to take a bath with soap. He does not want her to use shampoo because all of that stuff has perfume in it. So instead, when she takes a bath, he says she can just use the water. And when she washes her hair, just use the water because perfume is haram. This is an example, guys, as to how it's important for us to learn the deen. Okay? First of all, there's nothing in Islam that forbids us from using soap, shampoo, lotion, deodorant, makeup, nail polish, or any of that. Okay? If something is haram, there would be a clear verse saying that it's haram. Or a clear nas saying it's haram. Number two, the type of perfume that they put in soap, shampoo, dishwashing liquid, soap powder is not a perfume. They put a scent in it, but the scent is not the type of scent that will cause you, that stays on long like perfume. It's the type of scent that blows away in the wind, that once you wash your hair, no one's gonna smell it unless they up on you anyway. Even Bath and Body. When I use Bath and Body, that's stuff, unless you sitting right up here on me, you ain't gonna smell it. That's number two. Number three, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said a woman can wear perfume in her house. So that's what shocked me too. This brother is talking about telling his wife not to take a bath with soap, not to use shampoo, and she doesn't work. She's at home. You can wear, I can put on my Chanel. By the way, I have on Chanel number 5. I wear Chanel number 5 all day long in my house. Okay? So I want you sisters to know you can wear perfume in the house. But the type of scent that they put in shampoo and soap and stuff is not a perfume anyway. It's just a scent, the smell of peaches or oranges or something like that, balsam. To smell nice as you clean yourself. To stimulate your senses so you feel good cleaning yourself. It's not a perfume where people can smell it when you on you. Does everybody understand that? This is an example of a man gone extreme. A man gone extreme. A man gone extreme. And this is why it's important for you sisters to make sure that you have a good Islamic community behind you, that has a good imam who is specializes in marriage and divorce and the rules and laws of fiqh, so he can talk to your husband, because maybe your husband just don't know. So what I would tell you, sister, is this: you need to call your imam and say, my husband doesn't want me to wear soap. He thinks that soap and shampoo and lotion is haram. So can you talk to my husband? Or maybe what you can do, what I suggest you do in a case like this, because in my opinion, this is just a man that's plain ignorant. Why don't you cook a dinner? Tell your husband, this weekend, I'm going to make dinner and have the imam come over. Have the imam come over. This is something that the companions would do. The companions used to cook dinner and invite the Prophet Muhammad over, and the Prophet Muhammad would talk to the family about family issues. So tell your husband this weekend, why don't I make a dinner and invite the imam over for dinner with us, and we can just ask him questions about Islam. And I'm pretty sure your husband will say, oh, that's a good idea. And invite the imam over and let that be one of the questions. Ask the imam, imam, is it okay if me and the children, because he doesn't want the children either, if me and the children use soap and shampoo when we bathe? So he can break it down and explain to your husband that this stuff is not haram and this is not the type of perfume that Allah is speaking about. Plus, even if it was, it's okay to wear perfume in the house, because evidently that's just a husband that's just plain ignorant. And this is something that's good. It's good for the kids too, to have the imam come over for dinner and you can ask him questions or ask him to give a little lecture about the family and all of that for you and your husband and the kids. That's how you handle a man like that. Okay, you handle a man like that way, because men like that are only gonna respect what another man says. He's not gonna respect what I say because I'm a woman. Even if he's listening to me, even though I give him the hadith, the dalil, he's not gonna accept it because I'm a woman, but he'll accept it from another man. So invite the imam over, talk about it with your husband first, and have the imam come over and answer questions about Islam to you and your family. This is a good thing to do anyway. All right. Okay, mashallah, are there any other questions? That's